Hello, I'm Robert Emmett Hernan. I'm head of Blue Stack Productions, the publisher of Irish Environment, an online magazine covering environmental matters on the island of Ireland. And I'm very happy today to be here in Trier, Germany, with Monika Zelenska. Monika, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Good to see you here.
Monika is the deputy head of the section on European Public Law at the Academy of European Law, which will use the abbreviation ERA, which is nicely displayed behind you, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
You're headquartered here in Trier. Now, Monika, and you also specialize in environmental law?
Yes, I am the environmental lawyer at the ERA, currently responsible for the environmental law portfolio and on all the activities ongoing here.
And when did you join ERA?
I did join in 2011.
Now, Monika, I think it would be useful that for many in the audience may not be familiar with the work of ERA, which is fairly broad. So I wonder if you could, in a general way, tell the audience what is ERA and what does it do generally?
Oh, of course. So the Academy of European Law, or ERA, is a non-profit public foundation which was founded in 1992, which makes us 25 years old this year, and we're going to celebrate. Thank you. Celebrate big with a congress in October. We're based in Trier, in Germany, and the decision was made to offer the law practitioners, the notaries, the judges, prosecutors, lawyers in private practice, business, and public administration, to offer them some training and the platform to have discussions about increasing amount of law, because we just discussed that 1992 is of course the year of the Maastricht Treaty, and it was clear that there must be some platform, some room for not environmental lawyers by then, but for the lawyers to meet and greet and talk and discuss and have conferences together and talk about the growing need of integration and implementation issues of the European law.
And what in general way does ERA do?
We offer a very wide range of training activities. One part of it is annual conferences. We cover, for now we have 4 sections. It's business, private law, criminal, and public law section. Each of this section has plus minus 1, but about 4 lawyers, and every lawyer has his own thematic field they work in. So in the course of the year, we closely watch the developments in the European Union. We closely kind of keep contact also with the lawyers in national countries and try to identify the needs of the training. And based on those developments in the European Union and the needs of practitioners, we try to build a portfolio for a year and offer them training in various legal fields. Besides the open conferences, which are open to all the participants who are willing to participate, we also have a lot of projects. We work closely with the Commission. Usually we apply for a project. Me, on my part, as an environmental lawyer since 2012, I work very closely on the project with cooperation with national judges in the field of environmental law. And this is where we have a bigger product range. It's not only workshops which we offer. So for my project, these are judges that we train, but we also create training materials for the national judicial training institutes and schools. So the aim, and especially why we work with the Commission, is to offer these judges and public administration the possibility also to be paid for coming here, to offer some financing so they can actually come here and have very intense training and bring home some knowledge, which then hopefully will get also spread at the national schools and be implemented nationally. Exactly. So the project covers the creation of the modules, the training modules, plus the implementing workshops. The reason why the workshops are needed is, first of all, to test the training modules. If we would create only the training modules without meeting the judges, we would never know how they actually work in practice. So basically, when the project started with the Commission, we would meet with the Commission, we would discuss what kind of issues are important for judges. Obviously, because on the one side Commission, on the other side the Training Institute, we cannot just discuss and decide what judges need. So usually we have also a steering committee, which has number of national judges also sitting in there. And then in the beginning, in 2013, we also did a needs assessment survey where we sent a lot of questionnaires to national judicial schools, aiming at national judges and to ask them, what are your needs? And it was a good experience because we had a lot of answers, and based on that needs assessment, we could actually create a portfolio for 4 years and offer the very specific aim to these needs training for the judiciary. So in this way, we reacted with the first workshops were on industrial emissions, surprisingly, for me at least, because I came in, for me, when I think about environmental law, it's nature protection, it's waste management, and industrial emissions, I was taken aback a little bit, it's very technical. Then we did nature protection and its relationship with environmental impact assessment. That is, of course, one of the most important topics. Access to justice issues, Aarhus Convention, plus the EU legislation on that. When these topics are set, we create a program for usually a 2.5-day workshop. And based on that program, we do a training module. So that means that there is a manual for future trainer, and he can or she take that manual, look at it, and see, okay, if I need to do a 2.5-day training on European waste management, where should I start? And this book entails everything from methodology, how to do it, how to find the best speakers, what topics, case studies. And because we do the implementing workshops on those modules, we have all the presentations already there. So we get the best experts in Europe to actually conduct these workshops, and the national trainers can actually take their presentations and use them in national schools. About 25 judges attend each of these workshops from all the member states of the European Union. And then when we try that module, we change a lot. After each workshop, we sit with the experts, we sit with the speakers, we sit with the European Commission, and we say, okay, what can be done better? What are needs? Maybe the judges have something to say about it. Maybe we have to change something. A lot of things need to be changed. So in the end, the product is usually very, very high quality and useful.
And that's all those modules are actually available on your website.
Yes,
for
indeed.
People to see the extensiveness of the treatment.
Exactly.
But now, Monika, let me ask you this. Since the training modules and the workshops based on the training modules are test casing the modules, and you want those to be transported back to the member states, do you then select the people who you invite to those workshops and the modules in terms of who you think might be able to incorporate those back in home, or is that self-selecting by the people from the member states?
There are two ways how we try to achieve that. First way is actually that ERA is very, very close to the national judicial schools. We have a long list of national judicial schools who supported us in the bid for this project, and they're the so-called partners also in this project. So we work with them very closely, and these are the institutions who do training. These are also the institutions who send the judges to these workshops. In the beginning, there was we were thinking that we should oblige these judges coming to the workshops to somehow influence the national training, maybe spread the message, maybe do the training themselves. But that would have limited the number of judges able or willing to attend the workshops to a very small number, because that would have been only the potential trainers at national schools. And we didn't want to do that because, well, on the one side, of course, our big aim is just to make this training modules work in national schools, but also we want to reach as many national judges as possible. So we've tried to find a middle way.
Now, does each member state have a national judicial school?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Well, they each have definitely a way to train judges. Sometimes it is in the judicial ministry. Sometimes it's a Supreme Court. Especially, it seems to be a little bit more problematic as I think it's example of era. Having a public law section so late in life of era, it's the same with public law judges. Because the public law judges, they're in between sometimes, especially with environmental law, which so often actually involves civil law issues and especially criminal law issues. So sometimes the administrative judges are located somewhere else, but there's always someone there to train them. So, and we have those contacts.
And are lawyers invited to the workshop, which is the basis for the module, or just judges?
No, only judges, and sometimes prosecutors, depending on the topic.
Okay, but are lawyers invited to other workshops that you do, or other programs?
Yes, definitely. All the open events are usually open for all the legal practitioners interested. Even we get even legal translators from Luxembourg, or people who just start. We have a big summer course. That's one of my favorite events. It's 5 days environmental law crash course. Now will take place in last week of June. And this is something what I think is great to start with. If you started to work in public administration, or you started to work in the law firm, this is a really good way to get all the legal development in almost every environmental law topic throughout the week with the best experts we can get in Europe. So
now, do you find there are more lawyers coming to these workshops over the years that you've been here?
No. No, and this is something what we at ERA kind of noticing and asking ourselves why and what is happening. I myself, I can tell it from myself. My readiness to go to conferences 5 years ago was much bigger than it is now. With the availability of information online, with webinars, e-learning courses, it is time consuming and it is expensive. So that is my very personal opinion, and it's not the answer to the question why we don't get as many participants as, for example, in early 2000. But again, early 2000 or the first years of 2000, this was the golden age of the European environmental law directives, waste management, water management, new things were coming. Internet was not yet the mean of communication as much as it is, so people wanted to know about it, people wanted to exchange views about it. And now, I don't know, if there's too much offered, or people get some other sources to communicate about it, but the numbers are steady.
Now, that actually raises the other issue which we talked about briefly before we started filming, and that is that you and your colleagues here have a unique perspective, because you do see the development of law, and in particular environmental law, within the communities and within the member states, especially through the judiciary. And as an outsider, and somebody involved with prosecution of environmental cases in New York, I seem to think that there's a growing use of courts to resolve environmental issues, which I hadn't seen 10, 20 years ago. We talked about this, the Dutch case, which the courts instructed the Dutch government it had to do more for climate change. There's the famous Client Earth case with the UK air pollution, which is going on and on and on, but it's still pursuing it in courts. And then in the States, I don't know if it's true here, there are a whole series of cases brought on behalf of children against the governments for not protecting their constitutional or other rights, kind of the intergenerational justice issue. And do you see that same development happening here in Europe?
Yes, and as you mentioned, especially with like big important case, we're watching them happening and important decisions taking place. I would like to say it's because of our training, because we're spreading our message so well, but I don't think it's only because of a training, but I think indeed we've trained so many judges, and there is actually an interesting, I have some numbers later for you, there is aim of the commission to train about, I don't know if it's 50% of judges by 2020. We're involved in this very much, and not only in environmental law, but also in all other legal units. And yes, so awareness is raising very much among the legal community, lawyers, prosecutors, and judges as well. I also think that the issues are just affecting everyone so much more. It's not anymore something what is happening on political level. It is happening to every one of us, especially as you mentioned the UK case. And because I just kind of finished the program and we marketed the event on the right to clean air. Mm-hmm. So not only that we're looking at the air quality directive, but we're looking at us as human beings, do we have the right to clean air, and how is Strasbourg Court reacting to that? How is CGU reacting to that? What is the legal community thinking about it? Mm-hmm. And I think it's becoming more and more of an important issue because it is affecting people personally much more than only the corporations or people who need a permit for a pipeline. Yes. So I think that might be the issue, but I don't have a certain answer to that.
Well, and I know you were reluctant to attribute a lot of that success to ERA, but as an outsider, I can do that, and I do think it is, in fact, the training and tuning judges to the whole issues of environmental law, which is what happened in the States at the beginning. So congratulations on that, and we thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you so much.